Lewandowski goes for it again. Oh, you just can't do it. You just cannot be that good.
Yeah, we in Bayern, we have Robert Lewandowski. You know, Robert Lewandowski.
Robert Lewandowski is a footballing force of nature, but I'm sure you already knew that. The man just seems to be getting better and better with age, which is really saying something as he was pretty damn good to begin with. I know that hearing that might shock a few people, but it's true. Your favorite TikTok star is indeed an unadulterated goal-scoring machine. After all, just look at those moves. Who would have thought he'd be half decent at kicking a ball too? Damn, look at him go. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Lewandowski is on fire and has, in my opinion at least, been the best player in the world for the past 2 years. And because of that, I thought it was completely necessary that we briefly dive into the rise and subsequent rise of Robert Lewandowski to find out how he got so damn good and potentially even decipher where he got those sick-ass moves. All that and more coming up. So, with that being said, how good is Robert Lewandowski? Yo, what's going on my good people? Really hope you're all doing well. You already know we got a banger coming up today. If you liked the video, that'd be pretty chill, but it's whatever. You know, it's no big deal, it's whatever. Let's get right into it, starting from the very beginning. This young Polish boy here is named Robo Lewandowski. First of his name, I think. I'm actually not so sure about that last one, don't quote me on it, it just sounded cool in my head. Born in 1988, Lewandowski began his footballing journey at the age of 8 in his native Poland. Sports was always going to form a large part of his life. It was something that was practically a birthright. I say this because both his father and his mother were quite athletic themselves. His father, a judo enthusiast and former footballer, and his mother, a high-level volleyball player. If we fast forward a couple years through his teens to his early 20s, it may surprise you that by 22 years of age, Lewandowski was still playing in Poland. Knowing the heights that he's gone on to reach, you would expect that he would have made the transition to a team from one of the top 5 leagues before then, right? I know I would. But that wasn't the case. There are a few reasons why he never made the switch earlier though. The first is that big teams around Europe, as well as big teams within Poland for that matter, were actively rejecting the opportunity to sign him for one reason or another. Another reason is that Mother Nature clearly didn't want him to make the leap before he was ready or before the right team came along. That's good looking out, you know. Let me explain. First off, at 17 years of age, in 2005, he had joined Polish giants Legia Warszawa. For a second, it looked like his career in football was falling into place perfectly. That was until, not even a year later, he was released by the club on the basis of him being too skinny and too short. I was small, short, and very skinny. Everyone said, "You are too small, you won't make it." But I wasn't going to give up. Hearing that quote makes you realize that we're dealing with a man of immense mental fortitude. It's also quite notable that his height, strength, and overall balance on the ball are amongst his strongest traits nowadays and what many would associate him with. Goes to show you how hard he's worked to get where he is. Taking things back to his early days, next up at 18, he moved over to Polish 3rd division side Tinashe Pruszków and immediately got to work proving how big of a mistake Legia Warszawa made. 2 seasons later, and he was the back-to-back top scorer in the league with 36 in 59, in turn helping Tinashe Pruszków to back-to-back promotions. He was doing everything right, but even in 2008, unfortunately, rejection was still part of his life. His agent at the time offered him to La Liga outfit Sporting Gijón, but the Spanish side ultimately passed on the opportunity, opting to go for someone else. Closer to home, and his former side, Legia Warszawa, also considered re-signing the revitalized 19-year-old. However, this deal never went through as Warszawa's sporting director Miroslav Szczeciak felt as though Lewandowski wasn't the real deal. Who needs Lewandowski when we're going to have Mikel Arruabarrena from Tenerife? That's right, this was a famous last words type of situation. Lewandowski ended up joining cross-country rivals Lech Poznan, and over the next 2 years, Szczeciak must have been getting clowned in his group chats. 32 goals in 58 appearances and 2 trophy-laden seasons as Lech won the Polish Cup in 2009 and the league in 2010. Also, Mikel Arruabarrena, the guy that Warszawa chose over him, only made 6 appearances with 0 goals before returning to Spain on loan. The group chat must have been on fire back then. Despite all of this, in 2010, Rejection was still on the cards. This time, the perpetrators were Serie A side Genoa, and this one was apparently a done deal, but the Genoa president pulled the plug at the last minute. But there was still hope. Hope in the form of former Premier League champions Blackburn Rovers. Big Sam Allardyce was keen on bringing the pole over to Ewood Park. However, his flight to England to meet Rovers was postponed due to a volcanic ash cloud formed by a series of eruptions from... Listen, I'm not going to even try and pronounce that, That's the name of the volcano, it's that one. In any case, that deal also fell through. Now, there were a number of other clubs that were in for the man, but eventually he decided to join up with Jurgen Klopp and make the trip to Dortmund for 4.5 million euros. Fun fact, this was the last time that a transfer fee was paid for him. Okay, so the year is 2010. Here's a list of the Bundesliga winners each season since that year. Bayern Munich dominance, nothing out of the ordinary, right? But wait, what's that? A blip? A 2-season blip? That's right, to this day, the last team to dethrone Bayern Munich was Borussia Dortmund. Ironically, one of the players that made these 2 seasons possible is now Bayern Munich's best player. Although this shouldn't be surprising. You can check out this video I made if you want to know why. Having said that, let me give credit where credit is due. Lewandowski was obviously not the only player that contributed to this period of success for Dortmund. Along with the man himself, Dortmund also brought in key players such as Shinji Kagawa, Ilkay Gundogan, Lukas Piszczek and Ivan Perisic. These players joined up with already well-established players at the club such as Mats Hummels, Lucas Barrios and Nuri Sahin. And speaking of Barrios, this is a player that is probably often forgotten by most people when it comes to important players in Dortmund's recent history. Borussia Dortmund's top goalscorer between 2008 and 2011 and an important figure in Lewandowski's early development in German football. His goals and fine form allowed for Lewandowski to integrate into the Bundesliga under significantly less pressure than would be the case if he were the leading man off the bat. At 22 years of age, he was a starter. But with 8 goals in 33 appearances in his first season, as opposed to 16 goals in 32 appearances from Barrios, he wasn't the talisman just yet. But that was about to change. A loss in form for Barrios and 22 goals in the league in his second season was enough to comfortably retain the league title and solidify his spot as one of Europe's elite strikers. A year later, and even though Dortmund failed to retain the title, losing a few key players in the process, he was proving himself even more on the continental stage. I'm sure I don't need to remind Madrid fans of Lewandowski's demolition of Mourinho's Madrid in 2013. 4 goals in the first leg of the semi-finals of the Champions League, ending in a 4-3 aggregate scoreline that sent Dortmund to the finals. Mourinho was standing on his last legs in Madrid, so this was definitely not an ideal result. But on the flip side, Lewandowski was flourishing. However, all good things must come to an end. Borussia Dortmund had once again fallen behind Bayern Munich in German football's pecking order. This was made even more evident following the 2013 Champions League final, the first and only all-German affair, a match that saw Bayern come out on top. And how does that classic saying go? If you can't beat him, join him? For free? Well, that's exactly what happened. And Lewandowski must have been eager to leave, because as early as November of 2013, just 6 months after losing in the Champions League final to Bayern, he signed a pre-contractual agreement with Bayern that would see him playing for the Bavarian side from the 2014-15 season onwards. This, of course, coincided with the expiry of his contract with Dortmund, meaning he went on to leave the club for a grand total of nothing at all. Meaning even you watching this video have enough financial clout to purchase one Robert Lewandowski. Don't ask too many questions, that's how transfers work, I'm sure of it. So here we are, in Munich, midway through 2014, mere weeks before Lewandowski's 26th birthday. I wonder what Miroslav Šečák must have been thinking at that point. Surely he had left the group chat after being repeatedly violated by now. I guess we'll never know. Anyway, relatively speaking, he got off to a slow start in Munich, 17 goals in the league that year. I say relatively speaking because the next season he bagged 30 in the league. This is a very important number. Before 2016, the last person to score 30 goals in a single season in the Bundesliga was a man by the name of Dieter Müller back in the 1976-77 season. In the past 6 seasons, Lewandowski has done it 4 times. Subtle reminder that a Bundesliga campaign consists of 34 games. Adding on to that, his exploits in the 2015-16 season included one of the most mind-boggling and record-breaking performances of all time. 22nd of September 2015. The tie is a 6th round Bundesliga matchup between Wolfsburg and Bayern Munich at the Allianz, and Wolfsburg were in fine form. They came into this game on a 14-match unbeaten streak and even went 1-0 up within 26 minutes. Lewandowski was recovering from an ankle injury, so he started that match on the bench. However, Guardiola must have decided that if he wanted to take things a little more seriously, he needed his star man on the pitch. So Lever is substituted on at half-time. 51 minutes in, the equalizer comes. 52 minutes in, it's 2-1. Good move, Guardiola. Job done. Wait, what? 55 minutes, 3-1. 57 minutes, 4-1. 60 minutes, 5-1. Huh? Wolfsburg were in the mud. Within 15 minutes, Bayern were winning by 5-1, with Lewandowski scoring each and every goal. Between goal 1 and goal 5, 8 minutes and 59 seconds had passed. This guy is an animal. As a wise man once said,
And it's in the back of the net from Robert Lewandowski, because that is what Robert Lewandowski does for a living.
When they saw the initial team sheet and scored the opener, Wolfsburg must have clearly thought they were in the clear with Lewandowski being injured. But my guy came on and basically said,
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
As the years ticked by, he only got better and better with age. Bundesliga titles obviously continued pouring in, but by 2019, at 31, I think many people naturally began to think that he may be slowing down. It's only natural. Meanwhile, in reality, Lewandowski kicked into a whole new gear. The 2019-20 season was a historic season for Bayern, a treble of top honors for the 2nd time in their long history. The 2nd time in 8 years, no less. The main man at the center of it all was this guy. The fact that a player like Lewandowski had to wait that long for a Champions League winners medal is surprising, but at least it happened. It doesn't happen for most. 55 goals in 47 appearances in all competitions this year, 34 in the league, his highest goal tally across the board, and the first time in his entire career that he had more goals than appearances in a season. Again, he was 31 years old. The next season, when it came to the league, he went even further. 41 goals in 29 appearances. 41 in 29. The previous record of 40 goals in a season was set by Gerd Müller back in 1972. This man achieved a handful of insane achievements in such a short period of time. And I know what you're thinking. Surely these achievements were enough to bag him the Ballon d'Or. Unfortunately, France football didn't seem to share that sentiment. A cancelled award in 2020 in the midst of the global illness meant that a near-perfect run of matches and achievements went unrewarded. I mean, he did win the FIFA Men's Best Award, but a Ballon d'Or really would have hit different. And that brings us to the present day. At the time of making this video, Lewandowski is 33 years old and 74 goals off the all-time top scorer award in the Bundesliga, which is insane considering the fact that he joined the league at 22 and even further, the fact that he seems to be getting better and better as time goes on. So, after all of that, we're left with a burning question. Is Robert Lewandowski the best player in the world right now? Now, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. In my opinion, yeah, I think so. Of course, that's just my opinion. I must admit, historically, I haven't been the biggest Bundesliga fanboy, only tuning in for highlights and Der Klassiker. But over the past 2 or 3 years, I've started watching Bayern Munich just about every other week because of this man. I think something that goes against him in the court of public opinion to non-German people and people who don't watch the Bundesliga is the fact that some only view him as a goal scorer and not much else. Of course, this is partly a consequence of the fact that online opinions about football in general are mostly based off FIFA video games. His cards in FIFA have just about always had unusable pace, rendering him useless in the minds of the massive player base, unfortunately. Which is ironic, because he hasn't had less than an 86 overall rated cards since FIFA 14. But let me not go off on a rant. I'm a recovering FIFA addict, so I'm trying not to get triggered. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make is that he may not be the fastest player, nor the flashiest player, but the man can ball, alright? His insane efficiency on the ball means he only needs 1 or 2 touches to do the business for you. Assists, little flicks, and pristine positioning are all packaged into one with him. The guy is complete. Another factor working against him is that when it comes to football, Poland aren't the strongest of countries historically and struggle to compete against the larger nations. He is the most capped Poland national team player as well as their top goal scorer of all time, but international acclaim has never really been on the cards for Lewandowski. In any case, I think he should have won the Ballon d'Or in 2020, and I think he should win it this year too. But I guess whether he wins it or not shouldn't really matter at the end of the day. He's been immaculate, an incredible player, a ruthless goal scorer, and a serial record breaker. He's already there, but by the time he hangs up his boots, he'll go down as one of the greatest ever, for sure. And there we have it, a brief look into the career of the Polish assassin Robert Lewandowski. What do you guys all think of this man? Do you think he deserves the Ballon d'Or? Comment all your thoughts below. As always, had a blast putting this one together, really hope you all enjoyed it. Stay well, stay safe, cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.